Okay, guys, we're live today. This is the first, this is history in the making today on Yes for Motivation. We've got, not only is it the first live stream that's been done on this channel for months, I mean, nearly a year. This is history in the making. We've also got like on Yes for Motivation. Yes, well, half of got, not only is anyway. It the first live stream that's been done on this as well. So we're making history today. We've got the Crypto Bit Brothers. We've got Ron and the Crypto Bit Brothers here today with us. How are you, Ron? How's it going?
Good, thank you. I'm excited to be here. This is going to be fun.
Me too, me too. Oh yeah, it's going to be good fun. Yeah, we're going to have some fun. Hopefully Rod can come on as well. I think he's having some technical difficulties, as am I with my camera. It's gone a bit blurry, but that's the wonders of technology, eh? So yeah, look, before we get started and get into the meat of this interview, give us a little introduction about yourselves and your brother as well, and tell us what got you guys into cryptocurrency, what you guys do, and your YouTube channel, and promote yourself. Go for it.
Thank you, Luke. Rod is my brother-in-law. I married his sister, and we've been friends ever since. And it was, I don't know how long ago, but I started hearing, I'm a kind of a prepper, and I listen to things about current events. I'm interested in what's going on in the world. But through all these videos on YouTube I kept watching, this cryptocurrency kept coming up, and Bitcoin, and at first, of course, I'm well familiar with what a fiat currency is, and I said, well, there's no way I'm getting into a fiat online currency also. But the more I heard about it, the more I started dabbling. I said, well, I'll set up an account on Coinbase. I think I bought 20 bucks my first time, or 50, but I just started buying Bitcoin, and then I started telling Rod about it. He said it's nothing but a Ponzi scheme, get lost. But then he called me the next day and says, now what were you telling me? So we ended up just getting into it. How we got into the video making, Luke, was we heard one of the videos on crypto talk about Burst Nation and that Burst coin.
Oh yeah, I know about that. Yeah, I've heard about Burst coin.
Yeah, he got like 100,000 coins or something for hardly any money. So I thought, yeah, let's look at that. So we got into Burst, and they were offering, if you made a video promoting Burst Nation, that they would give you 5,000 coins for each video you make. So we went on there and
that's not bad. That's nice.
Oh yeah, it's free coins. So we ended up getting 20,000 free Burst coins. And from there, God, we had so much fun doing the YouTubes. We said, God, let's dabble in this. And so we're not the ultimate experts on it, but we do a lot of studying and reading on crypto. And we just started making videos and giving our opinions on things and researching. And it's been loads of fun.
Yeah, that's the great thing about doing these videos. That's why I do them as well, because I like doing all that kind of media stuff as well, and it's great fun. That's the thing, and the amount of people you can meet through this through YouTube, it's amazing, and it brings so many people together, and it's really good. It's really good, and that's great. And you guys, your channels is just booming. It's great, and I think that's why people like your channel, because you guys do solid research, and you guys put it out in a fun and informative way as well. So it's good shout, mate. Good shout.
Well, thank you. And I think part of it is our age. People are a little shocked to see senior citizens in this industry. But I'm telling you, it's kind of given Rod and I some purpose. I mean, instead of just taking care of the chickens and garden and the grandkids, we actually have something to do every day now. So thank you.
Yeah, mate, that's what it's all about. Yeah. Okay, so great stuff. So for... I'm gonna, because I in previous videos I've spoken about the dot-com bubble, and I was too young to really experience dot-com bubble properly. I think the dot-com bubble lasted from the late 90s to like 2000, 2001. I was about 12 years old, so back then I would probably put my pocket money into one of the stocks or something. But but many analysts, so the question is, many analysts mention the possibility of a crypto bubble, similar to the dot-com bubble. So like I said, from the late 90s, early 2000s. So my question is, what's your take on this? And where are we in comparison to the dot-com bubble, are we like in late 80s, early 90s, late 90s? I mean, whereabouts are we? What's your analysis on this?
Well, we're scratching to get back to that far back in time in my old brain, but I definitely remember it. It was through the 90s. There are some similarities. You know, back then, anything with a .com behind their website was destined to become something. And a lot of these companies, size was the big thing. They didn't care if they were profitable. It's how big their company got. So they would give their services away for almost free or little to nothing. They would give items away just to grow their company, their .com company. And it was huge. Like I said, it was a lot of speculation. People were trying to get in on buying their stocks and stuff and speculated on the price increase. It just grew so fast. So some of the parallels of today and with this crypto is kind of like these ICOs. You know, there's so much speculation on those, and people are just dying to give their money to these companies that don't even have a solid base. They're not even a company yet. It's just an idea. They come up with a platform, and some of them aren't even that sound. They throw an ICO out there, and people can't, they stumble over themselves trying to buy these tokens in early to get a little bit of discount, and hoping that they don't care if the company survives or makes it or accomplishes their platform. They're just seeing some of these that have been so successful, like Vertasium, and we just had that 10X. That was crazy. You couldn't even get in on that. They sold, I don't know how many millions it was. So it's all speculation. They're just trying to get in on the token or coin increasing in value in a relatively short time so they can sell it on to somebody else. So the similarity is there to the .com, but as far as being a bubble, there's just no way. This crypto industry is just on the verge of exploding, I think. It's too early to call this a bubble. There's only, 1 or 2% of the people that know about it. And if you go out and interview or talk to 10 people, 9 of them are going to never have heard of Bitcoin or crypto. So there's no way this is in a bubble. But yet these ICOs are very true to what the .com bubble was back then, that everybody's, at least the people that are in this industry, is jumping onto those things for the speculative part of it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, the potential amount of capital that's going to come into this space is mind blowing. I mean, I think it's still early days as well. I just noticed Rod's on here as well. I mean, we'll get back to the .com bubble in a second. Rod, how's it going?
Oh, I see him.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Hi, yeah, we can hear you, mate. Good to see you, man. Yeah. How's it going?
Good,
my brother.
It took me a while. It took me a while to get hooked up. James had to help me.
No problem.
That's all right.
No problem, mate. My camera's playing up as well. But yeah,
I'm just an old man. I got an excuse.
True. But yeah, when we're just talking about the .com bubble. I mean,
yeah, I was listening.
Yeah. I mean, have you got anything to add to that? I mean, what's your take on it? I mean, what do you remember from it? I was a bit too young, really, to remember anything significant from it. But you guys seem to have a better perspective on it than I do.
You talking to me?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Yeah.
Hell, I just got here.
Yeah. Go for it, man.
Hey, you know, some of the companies though did survive that .com bubble, you know, and they're around today. Their stocks massively dropped though when that bubble burst. I mean, the stock market just went chaotic when that bubble popped. And I think we're going to see something similar to that in these ICOs. I don't think a lot of them have a leg to stand on as far as their platforms are concerned. I mean, look how many of them are doing security or record keeping. I mean, there's so many doing the same thing that they're not all going to survive this, but yet people are dumping these money into these ICOs again just to turn a profit in short amount of time.
Exactly. I mean, some of the companies that survived the dot-com bubble seems one chapter in the whole kind of story of how the Internet of Things has become what it is. And if we take a zoomed out perspective on the Internet of Things, the dot-com bubble is a tiny blip. I mean, companies like Cisco and Yahoo, they suffered big time in the dot-com bubble. There were some other companies that were big back in the 90s, and no one thought they could crash and burn. But they're not here now. They just, all it takes is a Google search to see. And a lot of the companies that did crash and managed to survive are huge now. And since the dot-com bubble, we've got companies like Google and not MySpace. I was gonna say Facebook and Twitter. MySpace kind of just dwindled away, but it shows how it's actually evolved since then and how much money is in this. I remember when I was in school and we started in an IT lesson, and we started the teacher was telling us about Google, and it was some new big way to access information, and everyone knew it was going to be huge, and it's like a database at your fingertips for information. So in regards to cryptocurrency, we still have a long way to go. We still don't even know what's going to come around the corner, what new legitimate, innovative platforms and are going to emerge from this. So like you guys say, yeah, I mean, there's so much room potential because blockchain and the Internet of Things go hand in hand. I mean, it's like you've got the Internet of Things and you've got blockchain, which goes on top. But that goes on to the next question quite nicely.
The dollar amount compared to the dot-com bubble is, in terms of today, there's so much more money today pouring into these cryptos and these ICOs and all. So where we're at in comparison, we see a question on the chat room of the dot-com today. We're just in the early stages. I don't think crypto's got a bubble coming anytime soon at all. This thing is just getting started. We just mentioned that too.
Yeah, I agree. Someone's asked in that, what year do you think we're in comparison to the dot-com bubble? I mean, so if you could name a year that we're in, I mean, would it be 1996, 1995, 1998, earlier perhaps? I mean,
well, Rod, I'm not trying to dominate this. What, Rod?
I think it'd be earlier.
Earlier, yeah.
The dot-com, because we're so right into this. It's at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, I agree. I think the dot-com to me started throughout most of the 90s, and I can't remember back then. So I think it actually started in the early 90s, didn't it? So I think we're at that early part right now, just getting started.
Yeah.
But it's going to last a lot longer.
I mean, the next question is very much linked to what we were just talking about. The crypto space in the next decade, in the next 10 years, either of you guys just shoot in and answer that one. So what's your take on that in the next 10 years? Where do the blockchain industry and cryptos are going to be?
I think, my personal opinion, is I think it's going to be the world monetary system, because the fiat just can't work. It's screwing everything up, and I think we all know that. But
we do. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing. Carry on.
I'd like to chime in on that too. I have a little bit different perspective. I think we're leading up to where it'll definitely be used as a currency. But I'm also, again, a studier of current events. And we have a lot of problems going on in this world today. I mean, we could start off with war with Korea or Syria or any of the Middle East things anytime. The banks could collapse. I mean, we have so many bubbles today. Look at student loans, housing. I mean, everything is in a decline. I don't care what the news is telling you. The economy is in disastrous shape. So whether we go through a corrective period of reestablishing our country and the world economically might have some effect on crypto. Now, I'm not saying crypto is going to go away, but I don't think all of a sudden it's going to be this big currency, because I think we're going to go through a lot of labor pains getting there, because the world is in such a mess right now. So 10 years out, I don't know how to answer that.
That's what I really meant. It's not going to be 10 years from now. That's a long time. And then it may be 15, 20. But it is going to happen. We have to get away from decentralization. I mean, we have to get into decentralization, whatever it is. Let me grab my tongue.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I think there's huge room for scope here. Like one of the guys in the comment section just said, in the troll box just said, this technology isn't even really being used mainstream yet. I mean, Bitcoin is the closest to any kind of mainstream usage. But even with that, I mean, like over here in the UK, I don't see Bitcoin as an option to buy my groceries with or anything. So, there's still a lot of work to be done. There's still a huge way off from this. And like you lot said, no one knows about this. Like hardly no one knows about this. If I go outside, the only reason why most of my family and my friends know about it is because I keep nagging them about it. So it's like when this does go mainstream, it's like when the internet was, like when I was a kid, no one ever thought we'd be using the internet to do banking with, let alone on a mobile phone. And now we've got mobile phone applications, like banking apps, and banks are shutting down their high street branches, scaling down because everything just gets done online through the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is just automating everything, and I think that's what's going to happen with blockchain. It's not going to happen overnight. There's going to be ups and downs, like you guys said, and with things like cryptocurrency is so volatile as well. Most new currencies that come out are usually quite volatile, so we're going to get we're going to get days where it's going to be a bloodbath. Like the last few days, there's been a bloodbath. I mean, Ethereum, Bitcoin, it all just corrected, and it's going to happen a lot. But that's innovation, right? That's progression. But is there any other thoughts? Any other sort of thoughts you want to say on that question?
Yeah, we definitely have had a pullback this last week, but and I didn't check before I came on, but I think Ethereum's over 300 again right now. I mean, I think there's been close to $100 jump up in that again.
I'm going to check right now. I'm going to have a little look right now as well.
We're definitely going to have a lot of these ups and downs. I mean, this industry is so new, and so many new people coming in, and people using Ethereum for the ICOs. There's so many reasons why these things are fluctuating so much, and we're going to have that for a while. It's not going to be stable, just like Bitcoin is not going to be used as an everyday currency, at least here in the United States, for quite some time. I know they're really pushing it in some of the Asian countries and all. Rod, what about you?
Yeah, Ethereum is. Yeah, carry on, guys.
No, I could tag on to that where the computer first started up, and we had no idea about cell phones and doing banking on the thing like Luke said, but that took 35 years. It may take the same for Bitcoin to finally get in the mainstream, and I think it will. It has to.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. I mean, innovation, human innovation always prevails. I just checked my app on my phone, and Ethereum's just under $300. I don't know if you guys can see that. I know it's the wrong way around. Yeah, a bit too blurry. Yeah, it's just under. Yeah, $298 on Coinbase. So it's making a comeback for now. Yeah. So for the next question, and again, it's kind of like, go for it. Yeah, mate.
I know I have the gift of gab. I'm sorry, but there's some chat stuff
they're
mentioning Ripple and some of the Rothschilds and the banks and all, and these are kind of the things that I study too. But Ripple, if folks think these banks are just going to lay down and go away because we have cryptocurrency, they've got another thing coming. These banks are going to be on course with this too. Hence Ripple and their interledger. I mean, these banks, you know, they don't want to lose their customers or their foothold or their con game that they're and all the debts they have us all entrapped in. They're going to make these blockchains work for them also. So, you know, you're going to have the decentralized group and you're going to have a centralized group. And they'll probably be on different markets and terms, but the decentralized, they still, unless massive regulations come in, they can't control it. I mean, I can still send Luke money in the UK in the matter of seconds anytime I want. So unless they control the internet and some of that, it won't be controlled. But yet, the banks are going to get into this too. And those that are fighting Ripple and all, I mean, I get the moral side of this, but Ripple's going places, and they are more aggressive, I think, than a lot of these platforms out there.
I agree.
Yeah. I agree as well. I mean, that's the next question as well, what you just touched on. I agree. Ripple will do, I mean, regardless of whether Ripple is centralized or decentralized, from a technological standpoint, they're achieving a lot more than a lot of these scammy altcoins that a lot of people seem to be putting a lot of their money into. I mean, yeah, I know Ripple is aiming for the banks as clients and stuff. I get it, but let's just if we take a neutral perspective, yeah, they're doing some pretty cool things, and that actually fits in line with the next question perfectly. You kind of already answered it in a way, but so with blockchains, for example, like you said, Ripple, Ethereum, NEM, Stratus as well. They're working with like Microsoft, and they're aiming for business work, giving a blockchain business solutions or something. Will we potentially have the scenario where we have two ecosystems, a centralized ecosystem that you just mentioned, but also like a decentralized ecosystem, which consists of Bitcoin, LiteCoin, and Monero, and each ecosystem will still be blockchain, and it will still be able to exchange them and do all the good stuff. But will they? Do you see them in like, competing, like decentralized versus centralized, where the banks are trying to do their thing with their blockchain and we're doing our thing with our blockchain currencies? I mean, do you guys see that? Yeah, as well. I from my research, I think that's a very possible scenario. Like you said, with the banks to keep up with this. And they probably, I mean, that's why they're working with Ripple. And I've heard about Citibank making their own coin and stuff as well. I've seen rumors, nothing's concrete, but it wouldn't surprise me. So yeah, just give your insights on that.
Rod, you want me to go?
Yeah, you go. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
I think
that's a great question.
That banks are going to get hold of this stuff, and they're working on blockchain technology. They're working with Ripple. They're working with Stellar, NEM. They're associating themselves with some of the banks. But again, if people get converted over to cryptocurrency, their conversion mentally will be with the decentralized. Does that make sense what I'm saying? If people learn about the crypto of Bitcoin and their what they're all about, they're going to be converted to the decentralized part. The banks are hoping to maintain their membership and their clients through centralization and through those that don't have any knowledge of the decentralized side. Because I think once you get converted, you're not going to want to participate with the banks if there's a way the decentralized side can move the money around and you can use it as a currency. The benefit the banks have is they've already got their whole electronic system set up with Visa, MasterCard, and so on. It's so easy to use electronic fiat currency through our banking system, and its convenience. So until the decentralized side gets up to speed with that, the centralized side is going to have an edge on that. So as they bring their blockchains on and some of this stuff, I don't want to say they got an advantage, but they a little bit do until we get up to speed and can start using this stuff as everyday currency. I mean, when I go out to a restaurant, I've got to use my damn Visa card or cash. It's as simple as that. I can't. Now, 10X, that ICO they just had, they got a great thing going. They've already had their beta, and that's the kind of stuff we need. And those that aren't familiar with 10X, you can watch some of the YouTubes. I'm not trying to dominate this, Luke, but 10X has you get like a card that looks like a Visa card, and you pay with that, but you get on your phone, it's linked to your phone app, and you can tell that card what cryptocurrency to use to pay that bill. So whether you want to use your Dogecoin or Bitcoin or whatever, I mean, it's a slick deal. And they just had their ICO, they sold out in minutes and all that stuff. But so until we can get some of those things active in the decentralized side, the banks are we need them. We can't do without them right now. I can't live my life without my dang Visa cards or cash or whatever it is. I mean, the crypto is not providing it yet for us. Rod, go ahead.
Well, the 10X is on a good track, but it's not as usable as your Visa. You know, there's a lot of restaurants and a lot of places that don't take bit currency. Period.
Yeah.
Only a few right now.
I mean, that's the thing. If the banks, I don't know much about 10X personally, but like if the banks shut down tomorrow, and if they just vanished, it will be total anarchy. There's nothing in the blockchain at the moment, and Bitcoin is the closest to it, and maybe a few others in terms of scaling, but blockchain just wouldn't handle the global volume at the moment. And if the banks vanish tomorrow, that's it. I mean, no one's going to get paid. No one can do business. Shops can't run. The economy would just crumble. So the transitional phase, if that ever happens, where banks do end up phased out, where we end up with like a sort of Star Trek utopia where money is totally eradicated, the transition will have to be gradual. It can't just be sudden. Although, because the banks are so intertwined in our everyday lives, until cryptocurrency is able to kind of truly keep up with the volume, the banks, we're going to kind of need them for at least a little bit longer, I'd say.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And so that goes back to the question you asked. How do we see this playing out? It's going to take a while to play out. Crypto's not ready, and banks are still trying to get on board. So there might be a struggle here, and it's going to take some time to play out and to accomplish all this.
This is the thing, and when the banks orchestrate their little orchestrated crashes, as they like to do, it's all a big circle. How will that benefit cryptocurrency, perhaps? I mean, I think Bitcoin will do well in an economic crash. People would run to Bitcoin as a sort of safe haven. But it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be a very interesting the next 10 years, and how the banks and large corporations, the big boys, how they're going to keep up with this decentralization. Because at the moment, is giving ordinary people a chance to actually build and grow their wealth outside of the government banking system. And that's where it actually that's where cryptocurrency is so popular. It's like I don't not like advocate this, but it's like a giant middle finger up at the government, right? And that's why people are jumping in on this. People are losing their faith in the government. They're losing faith in politicians, in the banks, and that's why Bitcoin. I mean,
true.
Yeah.
Well, sure. Did you have a comment, Rod?
No, I was just going to agree with Luke. This cryptocurrency is the upcoming thing. And you know what? It really is the part where we are freedom. We have freedom to use this money without any control. That's what I like about it. That's what brought me into it. And
Yeah, yeah,
but you bet, like Ron said, we still have to enjoy the money through the banks and stuff.
Well, it's all about awareness too to make this transition. You look at people in China where their currency is going further and further down as far as value. They are constantly looking for things to put their money in to retain its value, whether it be precious metals or property. We talked about this the other day. So as these people become aware of Bitcoin and it'll store their value of their currency, well, sure, they're going to dump into it, and they'll flood into it. But it's awareness. They're tied into the fiat banking system until they become aware that there's another option for them. So as that awareness happens, that conversion rate will change, and there'll be more and more people come into it.
Well, not only China, United States, India, all of Europe. Let's face it, it's going to be massive if everybody gets into it. And it'll be a big bottleneck, like Luke said earlier.
Which goes back to Luke's first question. There's no way this is in a bubble. There's just absolutely no way. There's not enough people in it yet.
No.
There's just too many out there that aren't in it. Luke, are you kind of keeping up with the chat room thing?
Yes, I am. I'm having a little look.
Okay, because I haven't been able to look at that hardly at all. My mind's going to...
it's cool. It's cool.
I'm not multitasked at all at my age.
Yeah, no, I struggle with it now as well. I feel the age too. There's a few questions. There's one from Bond. Let's have a look at what the questions are here. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask. I saw a few ones. Let me see.
James Bond wants to know if Rod and I own any guns. Oh my land! Wait till Rod gets a hold of this.
Answer it.
Did you hear that, Rod?
About guns.
Yeah, James Bond, and he follows a lot of this stuff. He's asking if we, the Crypto Bit Brothers, own any guns.
I don't. You know, there's an old saying: if you know how many guns you got, you ain't got enough. And I'm afraid I don't know how many guns I have.
Let me tell you a little bit something about Rod. He's a gun master. He builds his own. He mills his own.
Wow.
I mean, he'll take a trigger assembly and drill in for the trigger. I mean, he's got. This guy knows everything there is about guns. Matter of fact, he's talked about doing a YouTube channel on gunsmithing because he knows so much about it. In his basement, he's got a room that's dedicated to nothing but making guns. So yeah, Rod is big into this, and you know, we're into food storage and all that stuff because we believe that we're not on stable ground right now in this country or the whole world. Things are going on. Sorry, Luke.
I've got carry on.
I reload a lot of bullets too to go with those guns.
Oh, good, man. Yeah, I mean, I've always actually wanted to go rifling, like with the little target things and stuff. I mean, they do it as a day out, but I think you've got to have like a license over here and stuff. And I worked with a guy who actually used to do a bit of shooting, just practicing, you know, with targets and stuff. And it sounds like good fun, you know. And yeah, I wouldn't mind giving that a try, just to just as an experience. It seems like good fun, just to kind of see how good I am with, you know, and how good my target is.
See me, man, I'll show you.
Yeah, good stuff.
In the UK, all my kids.
in the UK, I mean, it's in comparison, it's 5 years automatically for just having possession of one, and that's without bullets inside the actual thing as well. So there's a huge contrast.
Rod and I are in the state of Utah too, and this is a big hunting state. You know, we're proud of our gun laws, and true, the feds are always trying to regulate things. But yeah, there's a lot of hunting going on here. I mean, we're an open country. I mean, the town I live in, you know, we got maybe 200 people and surrounded by mountains. I mean, yeah, It's a good recreational thing too.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I got some more questions here.
Okay.
Hang on. James Bond says, "Love you, Rod." Oh, that's good. Good stuff. Nice comment.
Love you too, James Bond.
Bond, yeah, great guy. I was on his channel. He's a great guy. Rod. Someone's asked, Rod, are you on Alphabet? Yeah, maybe Alphabet in private. Alphabet. But where is it? Hang on. There was a question about that's it. Richard Thomas asked about the LiteCoin halving event in 2019. What do you think that will do for LiteCoin? So basically, when the miner rewards for LiteCoin half, I mean, do you see anything significant happening with LiteCoin in 2019 regarding that?
LiteCoin is, I think it's a good one to invest in. I've got some invested in it, and I think it'll be okay.
You know, Luke, as far as me, I don't know about that thing that's going on in 2019. I haven't read anything about it. But LiteCoin, I'm not personally invested in LiteCoin, but I was at one time and cashed out. But Rod is a firm LiteCoin guy, and I think LiteCoin's on solid footing. I think with their SegWit and some of that Lightning stuff, and they can deal in smaller denominations where Bitcoin can't right now, and they've got some big companies they're working with. So I think LiteCoin's a good one to be in. Yeah.
I say I started a hashtag on Twitter. Was it Make LiteCoin Great Again? And I saw Charlie Lee, the creator of LiteCoin, use it once. So I think LiteCoin is the most
that's
I
cool.
think LiteCoin is the most legit altcoin out there. I mean, that's as legit as cryptocurrencies get. Just another question. Someone asked, was it James Brown asked, "What's your thoughts on Lisk?" I don't know too much about Lisk, but do you guys know anything about Lisk?
No, I don't know anything
Don't
about
know a
Lisk.
thing.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry. We'll look that up though and make a comment on it.
1,000 of these freaking coins right now. How do you, honestly, it's hard to keep up. And we spend time just keeping up on the current events to the coins we're into. I mean, there's news every day on Bitcoin and Ethereum and Ripple, and I mean, God, by the time you study that, to pick on a few of the small, and we have some smaller ones that we definitely watch and look at. But I'm sorry, I don't know anything about Lisk at all.
It'll be one of our projects, though.
Yeah, that would be good, Rod.
Khalid Bader, I hope I said his name right. I really do hope I said his name right. Leaves a comment here saying, Waves, NEM, Ripple, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Dash, I believe are all winners. What's your take on any of them? What about Dash? I mean, what do you guys think about Dash?
I think it's a good, solid based coin. I like it.
If I look at that list, NEM, we have NEM. They're in Japan mainly, and they're also similar to XRP and working with the banks. XRP is a great platform, I think, and they're way ahead of their time with that interledger and all that. Ethereum, obviously, Litecoin, Dash, all those main ones that are mentioned that you just mentioned, Luke. I think they're in solid footing. It's these new ones coming up, these new ICOs, and where their platforms aren't yet well defined and put together. And Rod and I are doing a video right now on ICOs because we think there needs to be more caution on that stuff. But yeah, those main coins, I don't see any problem in any of those here on out.
But I will say there has been a lot of profit on those ICOs.
A lot.
But you do have to be very careful.
Take on the ICOs is let them pump and then dump. I mean, there are some good ICOs out there. There are some interesting ones. There are some innovative things going on. There's a few gems in the pile of muck out there. But ultimately, a lot of them are just borderline Ponzi's. I mean, there's no other way to say it. But I mean, so what's the next question? I've lost track here. So yeah, guys, I think last question. So So basically, you kind of answered this as well already. I mean, what are your favorite altcoins? I mean, which altcoins have you guys got your eyes on, and or do you see have the most innovative potential?
You want to go, Rod?
Yeah, for me, I like, of course, Coinbase, and I like Ethereum, Ripple, LiteCoin, and you know what? I just like them all.
Yeah.
Rod's too
Good
funny.
stuff,
Hey, again, when we look at altcoins, we try to see what their platform is. Do they really have something going for not just themselves, but for the community, for the industry? For that reason, we're pretty heavy right now into Burst. Of course, I said at the earlier of the show how we got into that, but Burst has something that they got on the second biggest online casino in the world that only has 4 or 5 crypto coins, and they've taken Burst on. So I'm waiting to see how that pans out. I think Burst has got a lot of potential there. I think Ripple, solid platform, even though I've sold most of mine out and put into something else. NEM, I love NEM. God, what else is there right now? I'm going blank.
Cash and Zcoin, or Zcash.
Yeah. Luke, what
Those
about
are all
you?
good.
What are you putting into right now?
My favorite coins, well, Litecoin because it's the most legit. I mean, I think Redcoin is actually quite interesting. I saw someone mention it in the troll box as well. It's like a social media tipping coin. So I think they're creating like a sort of plugin or something like that. I did a review on them anyway, where you can tip people on Facebook and Twitter with Redcoin. Kodimak says no. I don't know about game coin. I don't know those coins.
We just did a show not long ago with the Node Investor, and he's a big chart guy. He bases a lot of his speculation and opinions on the charts, and he knows how to read them, and he knows how to do it. He's real efficient at it. And he had a lot of good to say about Redcoin and that being that social platform. So they have something to offer. Their charts look really good right now. And, you know, where everything is dumped or decreased these last few days, I mean, we could be in for a surge on a lot of these coins. I mean, if you're a trader or want to get into some basic trading, there could be some money made if you get in right now while they're still low and watch them pump up, like Luke said, and cash out when it's time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like with this bloodbath we had a few days ago, everything just kind of bottomed out. And, you know, for traders, they could just literally just buy all that cheap. And now it's rebounded, they've made 10-20% profit just from that little bounce back, you know, that little rebound. So very easy money for the traders, really. I mean, these bloodbaths offer a bargain. I was going to mention another coin that I'm going to be doing a review. I'm going to be doing another review on as well. Is Coin. I done a review on MadeSafe, which is like a sort of data storage platform, decentralized as well. But Coin as well seems to be doing something similar as well. I haven't started my research on them yet, but it seems very interesting what they're doing. Because what I like with data storage blockchains is that you can host websites on them, because websites are basically just a collection of data, you know, the web space explorer. And with these data storage networks, websites can be run on them, you know, hosted on them. You can do things like Netflix or Amazon Prime, where you have like a database, like a server with different movies and stuff, different films, and it's stored on that database, and you can access them, similar to like what Netflix does. So I see a lot of potential with data storage and blockchain for those reasons. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, do you guys know anything about Coin or MadeSafe?
Yeah, we've looked at Coin, and we've looked at storage with the J on the end. And this, again, where I personally differ a little bit. Not differ that the usefulness is there, but how many of these storage blockchains do we need? I mean,
it's going to be very saturated.
Records and mortgages and real estate stuff and some of the stuff you're talking about, websites would be cool. But there's so many of those, not so many, I don't know how many, but there's got to be at least a half a dozen of these coins or tokens deal with storage issues. And so I think Factom, isn't Factom also a storage platform?
Yes. I've heard about Factom a few times.
Yeah, it's got a good platform about it, but again, how many do we need? So I'm not really big right now in putting money into that. Again, like I said earlier, where are we going to be 5 years down the road or 10? I mean, we got to go through some kind of growing pains economically and in the world. So I'm not sure what the application will be for all these tokens and coins and platforms. I think I'd be a little more cautious in getting into some of these, and maybe it's better to play it a little more safe with those that we know are going to be around for the long term.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree. That's the thing. Saturation can kill an industry. Because then it's just too much of one thing. There's all, as is good, but when it's just too much of something, too many copycats, it's kind of like, well, who's better than who? So I understand what you mean. But like you say, when these, when the regulations are going to come eventually, and eventually the weaklings will be weeded out and destroyed, purged from this, and only the strongest will remain. The ones with the largest market cap and the ones who are making the best inroads. What's your take on privacy coins? I saw someone mention it in the troll box as well. Where do you think privacy coins are going to go? Because there's a lot of them. Dash is dabbling kind of with privacy, but is trying to go more into the sort of commercialized kind of ecosystem. But you got things like Monero, Zcash, the privacy coin, Cloak coin, is it? LiteCoin?
Cloak is,
yeah. I mean, what's your take on the privacy coins? Where do you see that? Where do you see that going? Do you think Monero is gonna? Because Monero uses like a ring signature, is different to how Dash does a private send. So, what's your take on? I think Pivx is anonymous as well. Someone just mentioned Pivx. So, what about privacy coins? Do you think there's a market for them in the long run?
Rod, you want to, or you want me to jump in again? I'm just blabbering.
This is my take. You said saturation. Right now, we have no saturation. Right now, there isn't enough storage coin. This is my take, because we're just at 5% of the world's population. So there's going to be a lot more storage available once you get more people into it. It seems to me, and if we keep this going, and like Luke said, we would have a eventual cleaning house. It will get rid of a lot of the old things that don't work. But I think Dash, and I think Cloak, and I think I don't know too much about pivots. I haven't heard too much about it, and what I have was kind of negative, but the rest of it been pretty good.
I'd like to jump in here, Luke, if I could, on this.
Hey, go ahead.
Go for it. Jump in all you want.
Stuff. I mean, look at the world today and where we've been the last 10 years. We have no privacy. Our governments make our transactions in our lives an open book, at least to them. Everything is an open book. We're used to that. And those of us that just deal in everyday life, going to the grocery store, the gas station, and so on, I don't need privacy for that. So you got some of these coins like Cloak and those you mentioned that offer this high security and high anonymity. I think that's good, and there's some use for that. But for the average Joe Schmo that's just going through life, I don't think a lot of us are going to need that extra security on there. I mean, I don't send any money out of the country, cross-border. I do all my transactions within this little valley I live in and go up to Provo occasionally. So I don't know the real use of all these platforms for security. Some people will need it. Businesses might need it. But for the average person, I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree. I think because LiteCoin on their roadmap, I don't mean to keep going on about LiteCoin. I'm not trying to pump LiteCoin, but they're going to be adding a privacy layer onto their blockchain, like a sort of feature. And of course, when Bitcoin gets SegWit and this whole SegWit civil war mayhem circus ends, and Bitcoin can focus on other things, Bitcoin will probably do very similar as well. I think there's talks about that as well. So I don't know what would happen to the privacy coins if Bitcoin and Litecoin had a privacy feature. I don't know. I think we'll see a massive contraction in all of them, especially when SegWit comes as well, because I think a lot of the altcoins are used as hedges against Bitcoin potentially forking. But what's your take on that? Luke. And also,
Luke, that's just it. A lot of these coins are trying to come up with platforms and ideas where some of the major ones are not up to speed on. For example, hence LiteCoin, because some of the problems Bitcoin was having. So yeah, if they go in and add some of these security levels, I'm with you. I think a lot of these other platforms, there's just not going to be enough use or demand for them, because the top dog right now is Bitcoin and Ethereum, and all the people that are dumping onto the Ethereum platform. I mean, sheesh, how are the little ones going to compete with that?
Yeah, exactly. Another question regarding privacy coins. I mean, Monero Ledger wallets have put on their page for a while now that they're working on adding Monero to their wallets. Ripple and Monero were actually the two ones they were working on the most. They've added Ripple on. But have you heard anything about them when they're going to be adding Monero onto their wallets? I mean, because that's one of the things with Monero. I think Monero's got a huge fan base. It's got a huge community. A lot of Bitcoin fans, enthusiasts, like Monero as well. I think Monero and Bitcoin community is very close. Have you guys heard anything about when Ledger's going to add Monero finally? I mean, do you know, guys? I remember I tweeted Ledger about it, and they said that Ripple was easy to add, but Monero, there was a few difficulties with it. I mean, I don't know. That's a little bit beyond me, but I mean, what do you guys know about it? Do you guys know about any of that, about Ledger and Monero?
As far as time frame, I don't know anything. Rod and I both have that Nano S from Ledger, that offline hard wallet that we store coins in. And I know they've added Ripple, and we've downloaded that, but I haven't heard a date on Monero. But I think Nano and Keep Key, I think these other hardware wallets are going to have to up their ante and add more coins. Or I mean, people want to get them offline. They know the problems with keeping them in the exchanges and wallets that aren't that secure. So yeah, I think we're going to see that part of the industry evolve also into a lot more of these more popular coins.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's going to be very interesting to see where privacy coins go from here. I remember when Monero was like a few dollars. Like this time last year, it was so much cheaper, and then suddenly it got accepted as a payment option on Alphabet, and it just boom skyrocketed. I remember that almost a year ago now. So any sort of closing thoughts on this? I've asked if anyone wants to ask any questions, fire away now while we wrap up. And remember to pound that like button as well.
I just saw an interesting comment. Of course, I don't know how to work this thing. Oh, here it is right here. Something about being more free. We're far more free, financially free in the West. Yeah, maybe so, but you know, in our country, meaning the West, the United States, Europe, I guess, you know, there's not anything you can do that doesn't have a regulation to it, a license to it, or some kind of rules or something. I mean, we just have the facade here that we're a free people. We can't do anything without getting licensed to do it, and it's regulated and everything else. So, you know, we're not a free people. They just have us duped over right now. It's a mess. Sorry, Luke.
Yeah. No, it's good. No, it's good. Far away.
Sorry, Rod. Rod knows I get all bent out of shape with this stuff, man. It drives me nuts.
I mean, well, I think it drives everybody nuts.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, for us millennials, I don't want to go too much into like a political speech because I'll be here all bloody night. But but I mean, for us millennials, our money is worth nothing. Gold and silver are being kind of kept down as well. University, they kind of give you the promise of an amazing job afterwards, and it's not always the case. They sell it like it's going to be really easily. So for us millennials, for us millennials,
it is true.
Yeah, for us millennials, we kind of got to be a bit more savvy and think of other ways. We kind of got to be a bit more innovative, and all this kind of control and destroying our currency that we're supposed to be working for, and our retirement, our pension. Most people in at least in the UK, most of us millennials know that we're not going to retire till we're like 75 onwards. I mean, I think it's just rising and rising and rising. So it's like it's starting to encourage more innovation and more. People are trying to start businesses more. People are waking up to like the government. I mean, people aren't exactly happy with the government. So yeah, I mean, like I said, cryptocurrencies kind of opened up a lot of our possibilities with this, and we use Ethereum to create applications and stuff. There's a lot of potential. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap this up? I think I'm disconnected from the chat. I don't know what's going on. I'm not connected to it. My internet's probably starting to struggle or something as well. So I can't see any questions. But any sort of closing thoughts or any questions that you want to answer? You guys have to be my eyes and ears for this one.
No, I think we've answered most of the questions that I see on the chat room, Luke. As far as closing statements, I mean, we're thrilled to death to be in this industry, and I think it's going places. I would play it a little more cautious than, I mean, it's all right to speculate. We're speculators. We want our coins to grow in value and to make more money. We want to take profits out. But yet, I just think there's going to be so many more scams and ICOs that aren't worth their weight in hell. I mean, you just got to be more cautious. Those people that are coming in new, man, you need to get a period of learning. You need to watch as many videos as you can. Not that we're all experts. We're relatively new into this too, Rod and I. But
amen.
Get your feet wet and be cautious.
Well, man, I'm just a web designer, I mean, I'm not a super brainiac or anything, but I know enough to know. I've seen enough to know that these scams. And I don't want to go into a scam speech either. I could go into so many damn speeches, but these scams, they're maggots. They're actually destroying this entire ecosystem because they're giving this ecosystem a bad name. Right? I was talking to someone about Bitcoin, and they're like, "Is it a pyramid scheme? Is it one of those MLM pyramid schemes?" I'm like, no, it's not. But because these scammers are have made such a bad reputation for themselves, they're given any genuine opportunity to create a better life for yourself through the online space. It's causing people to have doubts. And then what happens then when these scammers do something and then the regulations step in and people lose all their money? It gives Bitcoin a bad name. It gives innovative platforms a bad name. And then what happens? The price gets affected and then more regulations are going to come in, and everyone blames Bitcoin when really it's not Bitcoin. It's the human beings who are doing the scams. And I forgot what I was going to say now. But there's certain. I mean, these scammers go around and they pretend to be multimillionaires, and it's just eventually it will stop. I mean, people are coming into cryptocurrency, giving a giant middle finger to the government and their regulate and the banks. But when they get scammed, when their favorite piece of trash altcoin crashes, and they want their money back, but they can't have the money back, who do they run to? They run to the authorities. I call it government daddy syndrome personally. They try and
that's daddy syndrome.
I like that. Luke, you're exactly right on that. And part of the problem is some of these ICOs, and I hate to keep dwelling on that, but they've been a huge success. I mean, and people have made a lot of money on purchasing early in, cashing out a couple weeks later, and those things promote the hype of people wanting to get in on this frenzy just like the dot-com bubble. They want to speculate, so they jump in without doing their due diligence. They just see a wave of people going in, and these things sell out in a matter of minutes, and they're making huge profits. So, you know, it's like you said, it's the people's fault. It's not the actual Bitcoin. It's the people that are causing this. And then, like you say, they overreact and they want more regulation, and so I don't know where the answer is right now.
Well, the answer is eventually people will just have to learn the hard way. That's the blunt truth. I suppose, you know, and then the regulation will step in, and yeah, that's what will happen. But anywho, that's just how it is, right? That's just how it is. But yeah, I think we've covered quite a few topics in this interview.
Luke,
it's been good. Yeah.
Thanks for having us. This has just been great. Rod, any
No,
comment?
thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Been really fun. Thank you.
No, thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you to everyone that
You're a
commented.
good man.
You guys too. You guys are hitting the facts. You're getting the facts out there. Thank you to everyone that's in the troll box. I can't see any comments. The browser's crashed. I don't know what's going on. I'll reset the browser and I'll join people in the troll box.
I think they want us to go for another hour, Luke, is what they want. Maybe we ought to call out for pizza and get this thing going.
There's a few chicken shops down the road from here. It's very, very tempting. It's tempting, man. It's tempting.
Let's do it again.
But yeah, we will. Yes, we will. To everyone else, like and share the video. The more you share these videos, subscribe to the Crypto Bit Brothers as well. The more that these informative videos and channels get seen, the more we destroy the scammers, and the less likely people will get scammed, because then people will be, and yeah, we can all learn from each other. So yeah, until next time. Yeah, man. Until next time. Have a good one.
God bless.
Cool.